Before starting this video, I do want to give a thank you to my patrons that support the channel. And if you would like to support the channel, there are some great benefits for you in the link down below. So with that, let's get into today's video. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Devin coming back at you with another video today on PubStomp MTG. Glad to have you here. So today we're going to be looking at Nahiri Forged in Fury. So for 6 mana we do have a Boros Commander. It has affinity for equipment, and whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. You may cast equipment spells this way without paying their mana cost. Before I dive into this commander, I do want to mention the alt art. It's absolutely terrifying the way she looks. So let's go back to the other eye. I don't want to stare at this any longer than I have to. So I know what you're probably thinking. Hooray, we finally got another Boros Commander. Out of the 500 versions of Boros Commanders we do have that deal with equipment. And honestly, your feelings are valid. I'm kind of getting tired of Boros being stuck with equipments mainly. I do want to bring to your attention how powerful Nahiri is as a Boros commander. Because of affinity for equipment, she could possibly be reduced just to red and a white mana just to cast. And playing equipment for free is also a nice touch on her. So of course in this strategy, in this video, we do want to talk about some great cards to add into the deck, mainly so that we could focus on that equipment theme. First of all, I do want to focus on Nahiri herself. We do have a little bit of a Nahiri theme with some of her planeswalkers in here. The versions of Nahiri that I do find most impactful is Nahiri Heir to the Ancients and also Nahiri the Unforgiving. With Nahiri Heir to the Ancients, it has a great +1 ability, making a token so that you could block. Also on top of that, you could attach an equipment you control to it. With her -2 ability, you can look 6 cards deep for a warrior or equipment card and put them into your hand. And her -3 ability is a great removal piece, especially because we have so much equipments on the board. Nahiri the Unforgiving also provides great utility in our deck. I mainly like her for her +1 ability, discard a card, then draw a card. Also that 0 ability is great, exiling target creature or artifact card with mana value less than Nahiri's loyalty from your graveyard. You create a token that's a copy of it. That token gains haste to exile at the beginning of the next end step. So you could constantly loop back and forth, +1ing her all the time, and then use that +0 ability. As a 4 mana, potentially 3 mana planeswalker, she will do the job just fine. So when it does come to Boros, they have an excellent amount of support when it comes to equipment. So we're playing equipment all the time. We definitely need a way we could draw some cards. Saram, Senior Edificer, will do the job for you. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, you draw a card. So this will provide you that boost that you will need when it comes to casting equipments. If you do want a specific equipment, we do have Stonehewer Giant. That Vigilance ability is excellent. You could swing in, then later you could tap by paying 1 and a white by searching your library for an equipment card and putting it into play, attach it to a creature you control, then shuffle your library. So a repeatable tutor on a stick where you could attach equipments to a target creature. This is no doubt one of the better cards in the deck. I did also want to bring your attention to another god that's in this list. We do have Halvar, God of Battle, and also Sword of the Realms. If you want to play it for the backside, you can as an equipment, but if you also want to play it for the front side, it does have some great stats. Honestly, both sides are pretty fantastic. I like the front side a little more, mainly because creatures that are equipped have double strike that you control. Also, at the beginning of each combat, not just your own combat, but other opponents' combats as well, you can attach any equipment or aura attached to a creature you control to another creature. But there's nothing to scoff about the backside. It is actually pretty good as well. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has vigilance, and whenever a equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. So depending on the situation in the game, both of these are fantastic and includes to add to the deck. Another card I would like to bring up to the table is Nahiri's Resolve. For 5 mana, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have haste. That alone provides a lot of great value, especially to our creatures that always want to attack with equipment stacked on them. It also does have a great ability at the beginning of your end step, exile any number of non-token artifacts and or creatures you control, return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of your next upkeep. So if you do have a feeling that your opponents are going to board wipe, you might as well use that ability to protect them. So next up, I do want to talk about small equipment. The main reason why I want to discuss this point is so that we can get our commander out faster, so that we could reduce the total cost of Nahiri. So the first card I did want to bring to your attention is Paradise Mantle. This costs 0 mana to cast, and equipped creature has you could tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, and it has a equip 1. We can make any of our creatures a mana dork if we want to with Paradise Mantle. It's an absolute hit. Next up, we probably have one of the best cards in the deck with Bloodforged Battle Axe. For 1 mana, equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of Bloodforged Battle Axe. I remember in one Commander game specifically where some guy was playing a equipment deck and he had Bloodforged Battle Axe on the battlefield and a lot of creatures on the battlefield as well. So when he swung with all of his creatures that were equipped with Bloodforged Battle Axe, he had something around like 30 Bloodforged Battle Axes on the battlefield. So with this card, you never have to worry about commander attacks with Nahiri. Another card I did want to bring to your attention is Colossus Hammer. For 1 mana, equipped creature gets +10/+10 and loses flying. It does have a huge equip cost of 8, but that's okay. We have a lot of ways where we could cheat that equipped cost so that we could equip it for free to other creatures. So this is definitely one to check out in the deck, mainly because it is 1 mana overall. If you do want an extra copy of any equipment you do control, we do have Masterwork of Ingenuity. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any equipment on the battlefield, not just your own battlefield, but say for example somebody else has a great equipment on the battlefield, you can make a copy of that. But most likely, we will have the best equipment on the battlefield. So let's actually discuss this. Let's talk about some of the best equipment you could add into the deck. There's a lot of choices when it does come to equipment, but I do feel like these are the best of the best to add into the deck. So the first card I do want to mention is Reaver Cleaver. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. In most cases, you're going to get so much treasure out of this, it's absolutely going to be insane, especially if we have Colossus Hammer on somebody and we get like a 10 treasure plus, absolutely insane. Another card I did want to bring to the table is Embercleave. It does have that flash ability, which is kind of key with Nahiri Forged in Fury's ability. So say for example, you're swinging in with Nahiri and she's equipped, you exile the Embercleave on top of your library, you could play that for free right away because it does have flash. This is based off of the attack trigger, not deals combat trigger, so you could use this ability so that you could give Nahiri double strike if you wanted to. But let's not stop there, let's also talk about an extra combat equipment with Hexplague Wallbreaker. So equipped creature gets +2/+2, and whenever the equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap each attacking creature. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So this is a crazy card, no doubt about it, so that we can get that extra combat for more damage. I did also want to bring your attention to a sweet combo to add to the deck that deals with equipments. This one's a pretty popular one, especially in CDH. So we just have a 2-card combo with Godo, Bandit Warlord, and Helm of the Host. Outside of the combo, these actually provide great utility. Godo searches for an equipment. Also, Helm of the Host just makes more copies of creatures. So when Godo does enter the battlefield, you can search your library for an equipment and put it onto the battlefield directly. So we will be searching up Helm of the Host obviously so that we can make this combo work. So whenever Godo attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So with Helm of the Host, at the beginning of your combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature. Except the token isn't legendary. If equipped creature is legendary, that token gains haste. So of course this means we'll make a new copy of Godo, we'll swing in, and then we'll make an extra combat. Helm of the Host will trigger, making a new Godo, and then rinse and repeat that as much times as you'd like. But that's mainly it. I want to thank you guys so much for coming by and watching this video on this new version of Nahiri as a legendary creature. I do believe this is going to be one of the best Boros equipment commanders out there. She reduces her mana cost with that affinity for equipment. She does have that ability, exiling the top card of your library when an equipped creature you control attacks, and also you can play equipment for free. So I do believe she will be one of the more popular equipment commanders out there. There's going to be a lot of competition because I can't tell you how much Boros commanders have equipment themes. However, let me know down below in the comments, is there any cards that I missed that you feel like needed to be mentioned? I'm not huge into equipment decks. I'm familiar with them, but I'm not big into equipment decks. Let me know down below in the comments again, which cards do you feel like would match perfectly with Nahiri Forged in Fury? So make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And with that out of the way, thank you for stopping by.